Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy at it again. Just touching base with y'all. I'm at the airport right now. I'm back on that travel tip. But listen, man, there's some discussion that we've been having internally at Buffalo Fanatics, and it is in regards to our receiving core, specifically with John Brown. I can't stay too long, so I'm gonna just make this real quick. Is John Brown receiver one, right? And what is the criteria for a receiver one when it comes to being a receiver in Buffalo, right? We've gone the route of trying to go with a big boy, tall guy, big target guy, by way back getting Hardy. If you guys remember Hardy, that didn't work out. Then we went after Kelvin Benjamin, thinking that we needed a big boy. That didn't work out. We went with Sammy Watkins, had promise, didn't work out. So it 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 begs to talk about what is the criteria for receiver one, and is John Brown receiver one? And then you look around the league to see who are the top dogs, right? As for receiver and what their criteria is. So does a receiver one need 10 targets a game, right? If you're gonna go with a receiver, and I got some statistics to put aside, but if you need 10 targets a game, you're in the Mike Thomas category, right? Getting almost 12 targets a game. You're in the Devontae Adams, Julio Jones. I think we can all agree that DeAndre Hopkins, John Brown's not that guy, right? Not to say he's not talented, right? So then, okay, so fine, targets, that's what you're getting. What about receptions a game? Does that matter? Because right now, John Brown was averaging 4 receptions a game. I'd like to see it a little higher, but a lot of good receivers were getting 4 receptions a game as well. Um, so a lot of times we talk about the draft coming up and free agency coming up, and do we have a number one receiver? So conversations been happening with Stephon Diggs, right? I'm not saying that it's going to happen per se. He's still got a contract with Minnesota, but if we were somehow to pull a trade off and bring Stephon Diggs, is it necessary? Because statistically, Stephon Diggs and John Brown were pretty much close to each other, and I think we all agree that Stephon Diggs had a better complementary receiving mate in Adam Thielen, right? So it takes a little pressure off of the quarterback and off of Stephon Diggs to perform. When you look at the receiving core that we had in Buffalo, we had John Brown and Cole Beasley in the slot, but never really, that number two receiver, right? We thought we had one in Zay Jones, but we shipped them out. So it's been a revolving door. So I bring this up for this reason. Do we necessarily need to go and grab a receiver one? Why don't we have a complementary playmaking receiver aside John Brown? That's the way I look at it. Now, we can go after the AJ Greens. We could, because I would love it. Don't get me wrong. And that would be great. He's 31, 32, right? So you don't necessarily need that receiver one type guy, especially with the quarterback that we have, right? Now, the argument can be made as well as that maybe we do need a receiver one, so we have a guy consistently that, Josh Allen can go to time after time after time, and he'll come up big. I mean, think about it. The last game that we had against the Houston Texans, who was targeted the most? It wasn't John Brown. It was Duke Williams. And I don't bring it up to say, oh, Duke Williams this, Duke, but maybe that's what Josh Allen needs. He needs that guy that's consistent. So maybe that's the argument to bring in a receiver one. But do we need that? Because they're going to pay an arm and a leg to try to go and grab one in free agency. Slim pickings after the big names are taken. And I'm going to make a video on that sometime soon. But it's something to talk about, right? And Stephon Diggs, that conversation has come up, and I have a comparison on Twitter showing the two statistics, and they're not that far apart from one another. So maybe we do have what we need in John Brown. We have him for at least another 2 years. We maybe have what we need in John Brown. We just need to find something that's very complimentary next to him. It doesn't necessarily have to be receiver one. That draft is coming up. That draft is deep. The rumor is you can get a very good receiver, playmaking receiver, deep into the third round. So we may need to reassess what we think we need at the receiver. We know we need one. Question is, where do we grab it? Where do we grab it, and what type of receiver do we need? Do we need that big boy? Do we need that guy that demands you to know where he's at, or do we need someone that's very complimentary, like a Debo Samuel's type of receiver that can do it all? Very interesting, man. This draft is going to be in a top defense for the last 2 years. I think it's something that we need to definitely consider. Uh, but excuse me, not in terms of receptions, but the top receivers that were in the statistics, right? Devontae Parker, Cortland, Odell, Larry Fitz, like those guys are on the team. Think about the free agent guys that are out there. Slim, I'm telling you, man. But once that video comes out, I'll kind of break it down. But like, it's time to consider not that we need a top receiver, but maybe just a very good complementary type of receiver. So that way we can fill the needs on the offensive line. We can fill the needs on the defensive front, linebacker. You know what I'm saying? And then we can kind of focus on that receiver. But anyway, that's my time. I just wanted to come on and chit chat with y'all on that. So the question is, John Brown, receiver one, or he's just a good receiver and we just need a complimentary, or he's a damn good receiver too. We need a receiver one. Which is it? I'm curious to see what y'all think about that. But it's food for thought. I just want to talk to y'all before I get on my flight back to it. I'm back on that travel tip. Read some of y'all stuff. John Brown is a number 2 anywhere else, but was our number 1 by default. But if we get a blue chip number 1 up, better as a number 2. But see, that he's a receiver 1. They're not that far apart. Bonner, someone that needs supplementary. This could go make a play. That's what I want. Receiving group. So this should be saying, but it's gonna be tough because there's gonna be a lot of people going for his services, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's my time, man. I just wanted to give y'all a chit chat. We'll talk more when I make my video on the POPP or PPOP. However you guys want to talk about it. So yeah, man, we gonna talk about it. Until next time, it's your boy. I'm gonna call y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all later, and let's talk about it, man. This receiver group is gonna be very.